All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Connecting in the Clouds. Got today a great couple of guests, and as always, have my co-hosts of Shannon Keene and Amy Collier. So, hello again, ladies,
Hey.
and welcome to Holly Lehman and Isidora. Isidora
Well, officially Maurer, but my
Maurer,
Twitter handle.
you still get your Twitter handle as your old one. Yeah,
That's
threw me off.
guy.
Threw me off there for a second. So, Isadora and Holly are should be well known in the social media universe as the hosts of Head in the Clouds, Heart in the Community. Very privileged to have them both with us today. So you want to do a quick introduction for those that might not know you. Holly, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for having us. We're very excited. It is 7 a.m. here.
It's early.
Yeah, it's early. That's okay. Like I said, my name is Holly Lehman. I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. They do exist. I'm a native, and we here to today's sunny Seattle, Washington, with my husband and my 2 daughters and my dog Poppy. So yeah, I am a co-host with one of my best and dearest friends, Izzy, where we do run Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community, really shining a spot on all humans all over the world in the tech community.
And anybody that follows Holly knows that her dog is a social media celebrity. Izzy, why don't you give a quick introduction?
Sure. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for having us on your show. I just love to see all these faces together on one screen. So I'm really excited to be here. Special thank you for Holly for indeed getting up at like 5, 6 a.m. to be here, which I think also says the level of our friendship and her dedication to community that she would actually do this for all of us. So yeah, so quickly about me. My name is Isidora. I'm born in former Yugoslavia. I grew up in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, and I live now approximately 6 years in beautiful country of Switzerland. I'm a community manager at Experts Insight and their little daughter company, Easy Life 365. And of course, as a big side thing, I also organize Experts Live Europe, which is a community conference fully focused on everything around Microsoft. And of course, as Holly already mentioned, Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community, one of our favorite shows that we did together. And we're excited to tell you more about our journey.
That's great. How did you two meet to start collaborating on that?
I'll let Holly answer that one. She's better at it.
Actually, it's so funny because this morning Izzy sent me a message and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so early for you." And I said, that's how passionate I am about sharing our story. It's a beautiful story because we made something negative really positive. So during COVID, we have a mutual friend, Sam, who said, "Oh my gosh, like you really need to meet my friend Izzy on Twitter. You guys would be amazing. I can just tell you'd be friends." And I'm like, "That's weird. This is so cool. I'm not a stalker." So I friended Izzy and we immediately became friends. And I was working with her at the time fiance, Tom, on Azure. And we bridged this really good relationship between the cloud advocates and engineering and marketing. And I was like, this is possible. We can do this. And so, by doing that relationship, I then felt comfortable getting to know Izzy more. And then we did a TikTok making fun of our mutual friends in Microsoft. And
Rick Kloss and Joey Snow, if you
that's funny.
We're still waiting for you to dance and do a TikTok back.
Yes. So.
I have to watch that.
A silly little TikTok, and it went crazy. And I was like, wow, we're onto something. And so I drafted a message to Izzy and said, "Do you want to do like a podcast together?" And then deleted it 5 times. And then finally said, the worst thing she can say is no.
True.
And I was like, everybody is so sad and depressed through this COVID nonsense. We can't see each other. We can't hug. We can't connect. But I'm like, we have this thing called social media. We can still do this D&I thing and interview people all over the world who love various technical products and talk about not just why they love the technology, but guess what? They do some really cool things behind the scenes that no one knows about, like fashion, blog writing, book writing, right? There's so many things outside of I love technology. So we started this thing, and it's been 3 years now.
That's amazing. I love it.
And
that is a
we
great
finally got to
story.
meet in person, which was really awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was this year, right? You didn't
So
meet
it
last
was-
year, did you? Was it last
It
year?
was last year. It was
Okay.
actually, it was on our wedding, and I spent like hours in hair and makeup and so on. And then there comes that moment, because I really had no time before, of course, to meet people. And so I knew the moment I'm going to see Holly for the first time in real life is going to be like when I walk there. So I cannot cry. Like, I just had my makeup done and everything. I need to look great. No, but we actually had our first in-person meeting at our wedding. So Holly came the first time to Europe, which was double special, to meet me in Croatia. So that was really, really nice. And then since then, we actually had suddenly more conferences coming where both Holly was there, I was there. I think then the next one was Copenhagen at ESPC.
Nice.
Then the MVP Summit in Seattle. I was lucky enough for Holly to host me. And for anybody who's watching or listening, if you ever get in the area, make sure you have Holly as a hostess. Because it's amazing. She was like driving me, helping me with everything, like packing my suitcase, like organizing it, like into
That's better than Airbnb, Holly.
Right.
She will help you pack. She will help you pack. She will
she will take you to the nicest restaurants and little wine places. And no, I mean, that was really very, very special. And what I just love is, I mean, I've been in the community for like a little over a decade, and the amount of friendships you actually create through this Microsoft community. So at conferences or like our story on Twitter, I just find it very, very special that it's, that we have so many connections. Like you can go to any country, well, not any country, but basically any country in the world, and you will know somebody there through community or somebody to host you. And let's hope everybody is as a fine hostess as Holly.
You've set the bar high. That's what it sounds like. You've set the bar very high, Holly.
Yeah. I'll make you coffee.
I'll give you a hug.
I'll give you a hug.
Well, Shannon, just know I have 2 babysitters here too. So.
That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Ooh.
Well, and then so my role switched. I now work for Amy's husband, which is another funny story, right? I've known Amy and Nick for a number of years, and now I work for Nick, and I have a national role, so you might see me sooner or over later, Holly. I'll keep that in mind.
To travel.
I do, which is a different reality. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, we can actually travel. It's weird.
Yeah, so, I have FOMO, all these conferences. I'm like, oh.
I think we're sort of we're kind of past the pandemic, right? Like we're kind of, it's still pandemic light. You know, the economy's still weird. Everything's in a great spot. But I think we're slowly, like, I think we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we kind of know we're heading towards that direction. But I do like the fact that the two of you really collaborated over the course of the pandemic. Like I wasn't able to watch some of the stuff you had live. I think you did most of it though on demand, because I caught a lot of it on demand. And I always appreciated the candor, the you know, the back and forth, the banter, the guests that you brought on, the stories that everybody was able to share. I don't know, it showed me that even though we were all two-dimensional, we all were going through the same stuff, right? And we were able to sort of lean on each other and realize that we're going to get through this, you know?
Well, I think that was the premise, right? Is that, like you said before we went live, Shannon, is that the tech community is so huge, but so small at the same time. Right. And it did create this global reach. And the other part of the reason that we did it was, you know, to showcase that you don't have to be a coder to be technical. And that was a huge lesson I learned from Scott Hanselman. He's, you know, he humbly showed me what an ally looks like. And it was the fact that, hey, you can be awesome at event planning or marketing, or the ability to go and be a tech evangelist and take a technical topic and then have people go, oh, I can use that and I can do that thing. And you can also be a coder behind the scenes or in front, and that we all bring different skill sets. And so it was really, when we think about the new world of diversity and inclusion, that's really the premise of the show, was to not just bring the heart of, you know, cloud apps and cloud products and what they can do, but also that everybody can use them and all skills are needed.
That's great. Because yeah, I have so many friends where I'm like, you should get into this. I don't know tech. I'm like, no, like you're very personable. You'd be great doing this, you know? And like, yeah, people always think you need to be a programmer. They always default to coder. It's like, no. Well, don't ask me to write anything in Python, you know?
Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Like when I was speaking for Microsoft Teams, I mean, that was the one thing I would get up there with Stephen Rose, and he would go really like into the deep technicalities. And I'm like sitting there going, but here's the real world thing that you can do with this product. And here's why it's really cool. Mm-hmm. And I would leave feeling like, why was I on this stage with over 1,000 people? And then I would have people come to me and say, we really appreciate it because you were able to give me something to actually bring back and then use for adoption and process improvement, and really show why this evangelism is needed and how to make it where it's effective instead of scary, because technical products can be scary for people, as we saw, like my parents trying to figure out how to use Zoom, right?
I love those calls.
I think our parents proved that the boomers can learn new things, because it was one of those things where it was a little rough reality at first, but once I got them situated, they were great. They did just fine.
My wife, the other end of that, she's a school teacher, and she was teaching first grade at the time, and had to keep 6 and 7-year-olds on engaged and online,
which is no easy feat.
Impossible. I mean, I tell this story all the time that I was teaching, and usually teaching on Central Time at the time. And so I would go up for lunch at like 1:00, and she was getting back from her school lunch, and every day it was like, Joey, I need to see you on the you need to turn your video on so I can take attendance.
I just see your feet. What's
going
on?
It was like, okay, jumping up and down, right?
We're gonna start math. We're gonna start math now. Why don't you all have your whiteboards handy? We do this every day at this time.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't imagine.
I have two desks, and my daughter was next to me, and all of a sudden, I hear her teacher say, "Matthew, we can't just keep saying meow in the chat." First of all, these 4 teachers were not trained on the technical capability. And I looked at the screen, and the screen is covered in yum, 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 yum.
Oh, no.
Get Izzy a cat.
Get Izzy a cat.
Yeah, you still don't have a cat, do you?
I still don't have a cat.
Get Izzy is a cat statement of the stream.
I'm still of the opinion that your daughter needs to just ask Thomas. Like, I mean, for real, like,
Daddy,
get her in the mix. I guarantee you, he won't say no, right?
Yeah, no, she loves cats. Like, as soon as she sees a cat, she like runs there and like starts petting the cat. And even one time she put the cat like in the bottom of the stroller and started pushing it around. So I was like, technically I did not steal this cat, but
I don't know. Just showed up at your door. Like,
told this publicly, but I once took a cat home.
When you were with Thomas?
Moved to Switzerland. I was living here for, I don't know, maybe a few weeks. And I arrived late in the evening. I went out, I arrived back in the village where we lived. And there was like this very cute little cat. And it just kept following me. And then it had no, how do you call it? Like,
collar.
Collar, yeah. It had none. And I'm used to like in Amsterdam, like they would always have one with like a phone number or a name or like something.
Right.
Of course, I could have realized they could be chipped or whatever. But I was like, this poor cat, it like keeps following me. Like maybe it doesn't have an owner. And I was like, okay. And like it was cold. And I was like, okay, I'll take it with me. And I like entered the house and Thomas is like, what is this? like it was literally following me from the station all the way to the home. It's like freezing cold outside. It's not wearing anything. I'm not sure if this cat like belongs to somebody. He's like, Izzy, you cannot just take a cat from the street. Of course it belongs to somebody. It's in Switzerland. We don't have cats living on the street. So he then made me bring it back outside. But so technically we had a cat for a few minutes.
We should figure out a way to just like have a kitten arrive on your doorstep.
I know, that's what I'm saying. What if one just appeared?
Because like if one appeared, I guarantee, and especially if your daughter was excited about it, I guarantee you that would be your cat. We'll have to do some figuring out of how this works because we're in different countries.
There might be ship a cat
right? Or how do we contact the local authorities to find a cat to give to Izzy? Like maybe there's an opportunity there too. Maybe it saves us the hurdles.
We give Donna Stock our homework. She's traveling everywhere. So Donna, if you're listening, your homework is the next time you visit, you need to bring Izzy a cat in one of your prima donna skirts that have
yes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's for a reason.
And then just give Thomas some Tim Tams and he'll be fine.
Well, he always steals them, so
yeah.
So we were talking, you mentioned the experts live, and I know I've been seeing a lot on social media, Izzy, that you've been posting. Been a whole lot of events going on. We were talking about the pandemic and conferences and things like that. I just got back. I know we got a lot of people that are Microsoft focused on this call, but I just got back from Reinforce in California for AWS, and it was great to see some of my coworkers that I had never met. I've been in my role for a year and a half, and I hadn't met almost anybody that I worked with. So it was so those are really cool. So tell us a little bit about the Experts Live, because it looks like it's it's a kind of a roadshow kind of event. Lots of different countries that you're doing these in.
Yeah, correct. So Experts Live started in the Netherlands by MVP and RD Martin Goed. So he started the brand, and then he started growing with friends who would then start conferences in different countries and so on. So I'm involved in the Swiss edition, Experts Live Switzerland, and Experts Live Europe. And the European edition is finally back after the pandemic. So I really, really, really missed it. Very happy to be back this year. Holly's also part of it, thankfully. She's the community reporter. So she's helping out, interviewing all our speakers, making sure the news get out there. So it's great to also have Holly part of it. So it's going to be in Prague on September 18, 19, and 20. It's going to have pre-conference workshops on the first day, and then over 50 technical breakout sessions on the 2 main conference days. And like you said, we have many Microsoft-focused people on the call. Well, the conference also fully focused on everything around Microsoft cloud, data center, AI, security, modern workplace. I'm just very excited to be back again with our own conference and to bring the community together. It's always nice to see. I think also this year we're going to have over 25 countries participating. Wow. So I'm very very excited to be back.
Yeah, I spoke on the hybrid event last year. So I didn't go to Europe, but I spoke virtually. So, and I think I still somewhere around here, I have my little popcorn container that was sent to me.
It's in a different country each year though, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, so Experts Live Europe kind of goes around through different countries. And of course, we try to avoid the countries who have their own country events.
Makes sense. And that's probably a little difficult at times.
Yes. I mean, for example, before we had, I think we had 2 editions in Berlin, and now, of course, since then, Experts Live Germany came. So then, of course, we keep the space for them. But for next year, I already have a few ideas. It's not fixed yet because I still need to do some location scouting. But I will not say it because it's not sure yet, but I think next year's location, if it's going to be this one, it's going to be also very exciting.
So you actually get to go scope out the location? That's pretty cool.
Yes.
God, I kind of want that job.
I know. I'm sign up for that.
know. I have to go to the Bahamas.
I know.
I have to check out the location
like,
there.
You sort of like define where you go. You get to like check it out, and then you get to like say this is where we should have it. Like that's kind of a cool. That's kind of a cool role.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's actually with Prague. How I think I founded the Prague Congress Center. I just found it through looking online, like conference venues in Europe. And then when I went there to check it out, like immediately fell in love. I mean, what I really love about that venue, first of all, Prague. Have you been in Prague? Anyone?
I have not. I want to.
So
does that count?
Yeah, no, Prague.
It's on the list.
It's such an amazing city. It's like super historical. It's beautiful. I don't know. It's just very special. So first of all, you arrive there and it's like, oh wow, this is really a cool city to have a conference in. And then the venue itself, what I love very much. So the whole expo area, including the session rooms, have natural daylight. So really from bottom till ceiling, it's window. So you have this panorama view over Prague. And I just remember back in the days, like some conferences where you're really like inside or you feel like you're all day in a basement, you
get exhausted at some point. You don't know what time of day it is.
Yeah,
you don't know what time it is. It's dark and so on. So I loved it here. You're not feeling like you're stuck really in the dark. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's why I chose again to be back in this location. It's just central in Europe. It's easy to reach. People love Prague. People know the venue. But for next year, we will move again to a different location.
Okay, so it is yearly. That's what I thought. That I'm like, maybe I don't even know this right. Okay, so makes sense.
And Izzy, sometimes you have a special guest that joins you, right?
Well, so this year, you mean at Experts Live Europe, or you mean
like
in
you're the special fun participant that joined you.
The little woman in tech.
The little woman in tech.
How old is she now? She's got to be about 2, right?
Yeah. So she turned 2 last month, and I mean, of course, when she was very little, she traveled with me. To be close to me, but now I wrote a blog yesterday. Well, I wrote it a few weeks ago, but I had the courage to publish it yesterday, to be completely honest, not to make things sound glamorous or something. But we got a bit in a planning overlap, like the most important conference for our company, European Collaboration Summit in Germany, fell exactly in the same week that Thomas got invited to speak at VeeamON in Miami. And of course, with the Microsoft travel stop. And so now that he had the opportunity to travel, we were like, okay, you just have to go and I'll figure it out with Emilia. Well, grandparents not being available in that week, I was like, you know what? I'll just bring her with me and I'll make the best out of it. I'll do the juggle. I'll figure it out somehow. And I really don't regret it. It's such a good time. Like everybody's so helpful. Like all my colleagues, our friends in the community, other speakers who came to say hi, and they're like, "Hey, do you want me to watch it for a few minutes so you can go finish your conversation or something?"
And that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. I'd be scared to bring a 2-year-old thing. I
mean, my son's about 1.5 years, and I don't know if I would trust him yet.
My 13-year-old wanted me to take him to Anaheim, but it was the last week of school, and I don't know if I trust him.
No, but I think it's very important. I also love, for example, with Holly, she has 2 daughters, and maybe she can tell the story herself better, but the influence we had in the pandemic time on them when we started our show, they started doing our show themselves. Like 2 of them would like pretend like, "Hi, welcome to Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. Here's our next guest." And then it was just so cute. And I mean, that impact we had on her girls and the impact I think now was on Emilia. I think it's good to have our younger generation.
Agreed. I think it's time that more females come into tech, regardless of what role they hold. Now, Holly, how old are your daughters again?
My girls are 10 and 12. And I would say that, while I was at Microsoft, it used to kill me to leave them. And then I would come back and I would see my girls. They were toddlers at the time. And my little girl would put her little Cinderella slippers on and put her like little Cinderella backpack on and wearing her little diapers. And she's like, "Bye." And I said, "Well, where are you going?" And at the time I was running events in Cambridge, in Boston. And I said, "Where are you going?" She goes, "Well, I'm going to go run a community event. I'm going to Boston." Oh, okay. And so I think for me in my world, this is not reflective on any women out there. But in my world, I am around a lot of stay-at-home moms.
Mhm.
And that's fine if that's your choice. You're very blessed if you can do that. But I'm someone that was always very career driven. And I had 2 years off with my second, and I was going insane.
I'm sure.
I wanted to go back to work. And so I think for me, seeing Izzy bring her daughter, or see the excitement of my kids when I would get to travel and do cool things and, FaceTime with them and tell them the excitement that I had when an event was successful or my session went well.
Mhm.
It's a good example for them that you can have a career, you can be a mom and a wife, and then you can also still bring home a paycheck and feel really good about
Right.
that. And for years, my husband never really knew what I did when I would do work travel. And then he came with me one event, and his eyes were like, "Oh my gosh." I said, "I told you, I am working from the second my eyes open until I go to bed."
Mhm.
And I think one of the coolest moments for me was when he came to an event where I got to be in the keynote with Jeff Teeper. And it was, over 1,000 people in the room, and he got to sneak in and watch me. And having him in the room was one of the coolest things for him to say, "That's my wife up there. Like, she just did that." And I said, "How was it?" He goes, "Holly, I would have never got up there. You did great." So
That's awesome.
there's moments where not only is it an example for your children, but also an example for our spouses, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, my husband's a realtor. He has no clue what I, do in tech or did in tech.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
wife's a teacher, so same thing.
Yeah.
She her work day is between four walls for 8 hours, and she's even like questioning what I do, like working from home. And
Yes.
even my daughter is doing an internship right now where it's 2 days going to the office, but 3 days remote. And she's like,
Mm.
are you even doing any work? You're not even doing any work
Yeah.
because you're home, so you must not be doing any work.
I mean, I wish that was the case. I think
wish-
everybody
yeah, I
would.
wish
Everybody
I
would.
was.
I would sign
Then
up for that job in a heartbeat. I can
I've
be
been-
remote, not do anything. Done. Sign
I'm
me
right.
up.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I'm right with you, Holly. I've been online since 6:30 this morning. So
Oh man.
Wow.
And
I
it makes
do-
you look great, by the way. I mean, well done.
I do think, Wayne, that now, as like more companies like who before would only be in the office and now have like hybrid or remote, that like it's not anymore, oh, you work from home, so you're not doing anything. Like they understand, they saw themselves now what it means to work from home and realize, oh, actually I get more work done
Right.
when working from home than chit-chatting in the office at the coffee machine.
Well, that, and you're not stuck in traffic. So in Chicago, it takes us a good hour to get there, an hour. Well, especially if you're downtown, right?
Yeah.
And so that was always the biggest change for me, was I could be a lot more productive earlier in my morning versus having to get to the office, deal with the commute down there, and then just kind of decompressing, because it's always a messy reality getting downtown in Chicago. I mean, Amy can attest.
Oh yeah. I get up like 2 hours early, get the kids ready for daycare, get everything packed. It's like a 2-hour ordeal. Then drive in. It's such a long day.
Then you need it like 10, 15 minutes when you get there just to kind of decompress, get a cup of coffee, just take some breaths.
Yeah, my daughter learned that already, that she when she goes into Detroit, she's taking the 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. shift of going down there. So she'll leave at like 6 o'clock. So she has time to they have a cafe that's actually Starbucks rebranded for Blue Cross, but so she'll get herself a Starbucks and like have that time to decompress from the stress of driving. But she misses most of the traffic too, because she's getting in front of it. She's getting in front of it.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing.
I think one topic in thinking about what our spouses do and don't know about our day jobs, my parents would all, they don't understand anything I ever did. My mom was just like, "I'm really proud of whatever it is, that thing you do."
Is your mom my mom?
Yeah.
My mom says the same thing. Like, I don't know, you do tech.
Right.
You work with computers.
Can you fix my computer?
And my dad would always tell me when I'm like, "I'm not T-Mobile. I don't know how to fix your cell phone." But that I think people should know is that a lot of times my friends and parents would say, "Why do you do this podcast? Do you get paid for it?" And I would say, "No, actually, we pay out of pocket for our StreamYard account, or setting up YouTube, or when we had the designer do our opening and intro and outro." And there's something to be said for the outside office hour events that we do, because it's just as impactful, not only for your role, but also for your brand, and really showing people the passion between the technology and the work that we do in community. It's all really powerful. And so a lot of people don't understand that these side hustles, if you will, are really impactful. They just don't maybe have a paycheck attached to them,
Right.
but they have so much more behind them that people don't see. So just kudos to you guys for doing this. This is great.
I think it falls in that camp of networking, right? When I lost my job in March, my network came in and wowed me. And I know, Holly, you and we've talked a little bit about that because we were the unfortunate byproducts of some of the harder decisions Microsoft had to make. Yeah. And both of us have just reflected on the fact that we have a pretty healthy network that's out there. And that's a direct result of spending time in the community, connecting with the community, right? Mm-hmm. And it's something that I think folks don't realize, especially if they're just now coming into tech, right? How important that network is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had over 100,000 impressions on my announcement when I got let go. Yeah, so it just shows that community is really powerful. And I've had so many people like you message me and say, hey, if I heard about this role, or have you signed up for this? And, although it's been 5 months, but no one's counting on how long, I've been in this boat. It's been really reflective. Somebody just did a post on LinkedIn about their experience as a manager when they've had to let people go. And it's like, it's tough. It's tough. And there's numbers behind it. There's also humans behind the layoffs, right? Like, I think the hardest part was telling my kids that some things that I said we would do, we can't do right now. But the positive was seeing the support of my family and my friends and the community who's still reaching out to me. People that I don't even know saying, I'll be a reference for you. And I'm like, you don't even know me. And they're like, no. We know who you are, and we've seen the work you do, and we can vouch for you. And I'm like, whoa, like that's huge, because being a reference, that's a
right.
big deal.
Yeah. It almost feels like a cosigner on a loan. It's not quite the same, but I'm always like, wow, you're the one that's going to vouch for me? You barely know me. Like, okay, cool. I'll have you be my reference. That's awesome.
So no, I mean, I'm not happy it happened, but I will say it's been humbling. I've gotten fat eating humble pie in the last 5 months.
Yeah.
But also
why not?
It's changed my dynamic on how I will view my next role.
For sure.
There's certain things I won't do. Like, I missed my daughter's first day of kindergarten for work. I won't be doing things like that ever again. But I will also be very appreciative for the next team that hires me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that kind of moment a couple of years ago myself. It wasn't Microsoft, it was another company. And I saw the writing on the wall. Like in January, I was told in March, and had like 30 days to get myself together and things like that. And that was, kind of that moment in my life. I was approaching my 50th birthday and things like that. And it's like, it's going to be, me first, like you said, Holly. I make it a point not to miss any of that stuff with my kids,
right.
And being involved with my kids, I've done most of my life, but not missing stuff because of conferences and things of that nature. And like you said, it's eye-opening then when you're looking for your next role, and hopefully having that flexibility to be selective around it, and that's kind of where I've gone over the last few years. I've changed a couple roles since I left that company, but I've been selective in what I wanted to do and who I wanted to work for.
Right.
And making sure that the alignment is there, and they understand, this is what's important to me. The role I'm in right now is very supportive for me doing stuff like this, and doing advocacy, because just me getting out there is beneficial to the company and things like that as well. Being an MVP, being an AWS community builder, they fully support all of those things. So, and making sure that they support those things and making it flexible with my time is where I've gone. And I hope, like you said, when you're selective in that aspect, and then are able to find that as well. And and so those are all those are all good things for everybody to think about. Is you got to look out for you and your family first. That's.
Well, I think you get like swept up in the hype, especially Microsoft. You're like, I work for Microsoft. I will do all the things. And then, but it was Ashley Willis posted something, and it really resonated. It was like, your job's not going to remember you working late, but your kids will. And
I was just going to say that she was the one that posted it, and it's true. Like 20 years from now, nobody's going to care that you went to a conference, right? And you did your spiel. Your kids will if you miss something important.
Yeah, like that's more impactful to them than you are essentially a number, no matter what the company. Like you might be like, oh, and. So the sacrifices you made.
I missed one. I'm about to be married for 25 years next month.
Oh, wow.
You're only 26. How does that work, Dwayne?
Betrothed.
And I had to go to a team building event. I think it was our second anniversary. And, and I think I had just hired on with the company, couldn't get out of it, and I was told, for a year, I was told I've missed half of our anniversaries. Oh. Yeah. That was held right over my head. So I haven't missed any anniversary since.
That's actually happening to me coming up. We're going to California, and then they threw in like a work thing for Nick. He's like, I just gotta go to one meeting.
I know exactly what meeting it is, because they asked me to go, and I'm like, I'm on vacation. Like Nick's playing a part of me that week, and I'm playing a part of him the week that he's out there with you. So it's funny.
Sneak it in, and then they felt bad.
I specifically told my company there's a Microsoft partner, like a partner meeting that week of my anniversary, and I told them, nope, my 25th anniversary, not gonna can't travel. Or I might not be married 26.
Is that the year of the gold, or is that the diamond? Because 25 is one of those like gems, isn't it?
I believe
that's when they get to the good stuff, right?
I guess I probably have to look that up as I plan my gift for.
Note to self: look up what that year is, because it's weird. Like years 6 and 7, it's like wood, and you're like, really? Like, why is it wood?
I know paper.
Paper. I'm like, what? I don't know who came up with it.
Diamonds till you're like really married.
50, I think 50 might be the diamond, actually.
Yeah, maybe that's
25 says silver.
Oh, or you could be smart, like Izzy and I. She keeps doing these events like her wedding and Prague, all that fall on my wedding anniversary, which is September 25th. So, it's been really great so Josh and I will be married 19 years in September.
Congratulations.
Yeah, somehow that still happened. It's pretty awesome.
And you're only 25.
20. You're only 20. It's amazing what we've been able to do in our lives. 21. Okay, fair. 21. I like it. Yeah.
And so the funny thing is we wanted to go to Italy for our entire marriage. And it's 7 years. We're like, that's it. We're doing it. We're booking it. And I found out I was pregnant. I'm not going to Italy pregnant. That's not
right.
No,
and so now, 17 years later, 17, we went to Italy in Croatia for Izzy's wedding. And now somehow Josh is supporting me going to Prague, which also falls right on our anniversary. So yes, of course, Josh is coming with me. So yes, we're traveling, but yes, we're also celebrating.
Nice. I like it. Why not?
My 10th anniversary, aligned with a award trip that I won in the Cayman Islands. So that was nice for our 10th anniversary. So
I love that. That was my favorite trip so far.
Yeah, that was awesome. Except for I can't get my wife on a plane anymore because we landed during a tropical storm, and the plane actually
bounced.
Don't tell me I'm
was going onto the runway. Yeah, was going on the runway, and then took back off and had to circle around because it was about to miss the runway. Landing on an island, which would not have been a good turn. But we immediately headed to the bar after that.
I was just talking about this yesterday. So I was saying, I love to travel. I hate the flying because I've been in what feels like a tin can in a storm, and it's very terrifying. You're like, I think this is it. I made it. I'm still here, right? But you have those moments of this could be it. Like I'm in a tin can in the air. And it was not fun.
We we hit a set of turbulence over Colorado, which they told us we were going to hit, but that was right after the beverage service was served. I was flying a red eye back from California last week, so I'm trying to sleep, and the plane bounces, and the guy's coffee next to me spills down my leg. I'm like,
oh, hopefully didn't any burns.
I think
I was wearing pants. Thankfully, I was still wearing pants from the conference. I had gone right from the conference to the airport, so I had long pants. It was just I was damp for the rest of the trip.
So a good tip there. What I had a few times. So I mean, I travel a lot, but you will not believe how scared I am of flying. Like literally,
I'm sure.
Terrified. So sometimes, and like the turbulence starts, and I'm like, oh my god, I buckle up, and I'm like. Okay,
white knuckle
the stewardess, because I want to know how long is this turbulence going to be? Is it going to get worse? Is it going to get less? And so on. And like I asked like this difficult questions, and she's like, "Hold on, let's go to the pilot." And like it happened already 2 or 3 times that they actually called me into the cockpit to sit in the jump seat together with the pilots to show me like, "Hey, there's nothing scary about it." Like we had such an awful turbulent landing, and I was sitting there, and I had like the headset or the headphones on my ears, so I could hear everything they were discussing, and with the tower and so on. And like the pilots, they're just like sitting there, like
they're so chill.
Like,
they're so chill.
And I was like,
hey,
basically, this is not okay. Are you sure this is okay? Is this really okay?
Yeah, I equate them. I equate them to those like system administrators who've seen some things, who've become gray. They just have like they're just so like even keeled. Yeah, like they're so ridiculously gray, but they've seen some stuff, right? And so I think like the pilots I've known, my cousin's ex-husband was a pilot, and you know when they were still married, he would always tell me these stories. You sort of have to be that way because if you get worked up, guess what? Your career is going to be very short-lived.
Right. You're in charge of the plane. You got to stay calm.
You've got to stay calm. You've got to stay level-headed. It's sort of like probably the same type of demeanor you would need out of like a military leader, right? Because when, you know, everything gets awful and everything hits the fan, you probably need some sort of calm demeanor to sort of level set and move things through. But yeah, I'm with you, Izzy. I am not a fan of flying. Do have a question for you though. Do you take a lot of trains? Because you do live in Europe, and I imagine I wish they had that here in America, honestly. The rapid transit would be so much of a better reality.
And I love it. Like, for example, I often go back to Amsterdam because my friends, family, and so on, they all still live there. They did not join me to Switzerland. But it's actually, I have a 7 hours direct train, and I love it. Like, I would, I don't know, go on a Monday morning, and I would use those 7 hours as a working day. So I would technically just have like a mobile office.
Yeah.
And no, it's perfect. That's what I really love. In like 3 hours, I'm in Paris by train. In 3 hours, I'm in Milan by train. It's like you could just go on a weekend and be like, hey, let's get on a train and let's go there. I mean, that's the luxury we have here in Europe, that everything is so close.
See, I'm jealous. Everything's far away.
I gotta drive 5 hours to get to Chicago.
Yeah, 3 hours I get to Madison. I'm like, Madison's cool, but it's not Paris or Milan.
It's not Paris.
It's still Wisconsin.
Yeah, right.
It reminds me when being in Seattle, when Holly was like, oh yeah, but I live in like this and this place. It's like about an hour drive. And I'm like, what? That's so far. Like in an hour, I'm in a different country. And she's like, oh no, I'll pick you up. It's not a problem. I'm like, Holly, it's like over an hour. Oh no, that's like a regular commute.
Right.
Where I live, it is. Yeah. I was going to say, Shannon, you were talking about a pilot and military commander and all of this. I would actually respectfully say, if you've ever run an event for a tech community,
you have the same demeanor.
Is crazy. I remember running Ignite for many years for Microsoft, and I'm like, I am not a calm person. I am very high maintenance. I am very high strung. I am very impatient. And my managers would always say, when everyone's going crazy with the event chaos, you become very like focused and calm. And I think it's so funny because people don't realize all the chaos that happens behind an event. And people like Izzy and I, when we're running it and everyone's like freaking out about budget and travel and do we get a ticket and do I get to speak and how many sessions? And you're just like, hold on, we've got this. I'm driving this plane. I got this, you know.
Yeah.
It's true. The stuff that goes on behind the scenes of everybody's different role. No one understands, right?
It's true.
Yeah, I didn't realize until my first Ignite last year because we got to speak, but we also had to help run labs and
Yep.
and then I'm seeing the crew set up. I'm like, oh my God, this is, and then stuff's going wrong, but nobody knows, it's like, so just the behind the scenes, it was really eye-opening about what it takes, how early everyone's getting up, and the stuff that goes wrong, but the audience doesn't know, it was pretty impressive. So, and exhausting.
Yes.
You got to have like backup plans, right? Like backup plan number 1, backup plan number 2, right? No, when to quote unquote deploy the troops, right? To use the military analogy.
Yes.
So I feel like, so I'm with you. I think that's actually, that mirrors up to most things. The areas you're comfortable in, you can probably maneuver through with ease. The areas that you are uncomfortable with, like I'm kind of a control freak. That's why I don't like to be in a plane, because I can't control it, right?
Right.
But for some reason, being in a train feels better, because like, where are we going to go? Like, we're on the ground already, we're not going to be falling from the sky. So it's just weird, the things that go through your brain. Right. And it's just even crazy if you follow like any of these scientists, they only know like a fraction of what really happens in our brain. And like, we only use like, what is it? Like 10% of your brain at any given time. It's fascinating. The things that like come in as you're like waiting there to take off. You're like, this might be it, Shannon. And I'm like, oh, okay, no, stop, brain, stop.
My husband's so zen. He loves it because he's like, no one can get a hold of me. I can ultimate focus on work. And he just goes, I'm in an airplane unless you connect to the Wi-Fi. That's when he gets like his best work done. He loves flying.
Well, Shannon, you and I should never travel together then, because whenever things get really life terrifying-ish, I just start laughing. I was on a flight with my girlfriend. We did a weekend trip in Vegas. She has 3 babies. I have my 2. And the turbulence was crazy.
Oh, no.
I mean, basically the plane dropped and it went sideways. And I was like, that's it. We're going to die. And like, we're never going to see your kids again. And she's crying. And I just start hysterically laughing. So yeah.
She's probably ready to like strangle you. Like, stop.
Totally.
Are you still friends?
Yes, we are.
Nice. I love it. So clearly,
after being stopped at the border in Canada with an expired passport that was also registered as stolen, and we're still friends. Yeah, it's a good time.
Sometimes I think so. It's kind of that yin and yang sort of thing, right? Like, you need somebody who's the exact opposite of you to help you out in those moments. So I'm wondering if she was able to kind of realize that you were in a weird spot, right? And you were able to kind of like get her to calm down. So I don't know. I sometimes I feel like those friendships are really great. Some of my really good friends back in Nebraska are that way. A lot different than I am, but we always lean on each other in times of weirdness where things feel uncomfortable, or we need somebody to crack a joke because the tension's awful, right? So
the ultimate yin and yang is you and your wife, Shannon. Oh my God.
This is true. Yeah, we're very different.
The introvert and extrovert.
Right. Well, I thought she was extroverted when we first started dating, and then I realized she was just the introverted extrovert. And so during the pandemic, there were times, because I'm the definitive extrovert. Like, I've got to go talk to people. And there'd be times where I'd go and exhaust her, and she'd be like, "Have you talked to anybody like with your camera on?" I'm like, "No, I haven't. Can you please go find somebody? You're really a lot right now." So I have to like leave her, go find a coworker, turn on my video, and get all my extrovert out. So the pandemic was rough for the extroverts, I think. I don't know. Amy, you're more of an introvert, wouldn't you say?
I'm like the introverted extrovert. Like, I like going and talking, but I need to like re-energize and, like after that. But yeah, I'm still missing people actually, because I've been working from home for a long time with the Skylines Academy. And now with Microsoft, everything was remote hiring. Didn't meet Sonia till Ignite last year, so I haven't met half my team.
Yeah.
And now with we're not really traveling, so everything's unless you get super duper special approval. So I'm definitely missing at least go to an office or something.
That end of year travel. That we got to save money before the end of the fiscal year, right?
Right. So I'm definitely I'm ready. I'm ready to see people. Come on.
I remember telling my husband, we have a fairly good sized home. And during COVID, I was like, Josh, I love you and I love our children, but I hate all of you right now. Like, walls are really closing in on me because I need other humans other than the 3 of you. And he's like, that is the meanest thing I said, I'm just real. I need other humans in my life other than the three of you. So
yeah. It's kind of claustrophobic. Yeah.
Yeah. So Holly, would you claim that you're more of an extrovert than needing other people?
yeah, Captain Obvious.
Izzy, are you an extrovert, Izzy?
Super extroverted.
Okay,
yeah.
I kind of thought both of you might be, but I was just curious your own take, right? Because sometimes people are like, oh no, and there are extroverts that I know, like I still need this. I need time to recharge my batteries. I can't do it for 5 days in a row without a moment of recharging my batteries. I definitely need it. But there are people who are even more extroverted than I am. I know, Amy, it's hard for you to probably believe. But yeah, so I think like the pandemic was rough for us extroverts. The introverts were fine. They were like, we were built for this.
Yay! Keep it this way.
I do think there's a differentiating factor of I don't need downtime from my friends and my family. Like
Okay.
I don't need downtime.
I don't. Yeah. Friends and family. Yeah.
Yeah, friends and family. But the event component, that I would need some downtime in the morning, in the sense that, I had a Microsoft brand that I wanted to hold true to, and I needed to keep top of mind, like why we're here. How am I going to make this impactful? What am I going to say? What if this question is asked? Who do I connect this customer with? Right. So there's a different level of being on when you're doing work extrovert.
Yes, I agree.
So that I would need some downtime from at the end. So like we brought the kids to one of the events and I said, never again. They can come before, they can come after. I'm here for it. But I just, I needed some downtime. So I think I am a super extrovert, but when it comes to the work component
events,
of it, then I need to take it down a notch because I want to make sure I can be on and be myself, but also be on point.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I'm with you up front. I think that's when I need the time to recharge my batteries. But you're right. Friends and family, I don't need to recharge my battery. Because they know me better. You know what I mean? Like they know that I might drop the F-bomb or be a little bizarre or whatever. But no, Dwayne, we don't even know. Is Dwayne, would you say you're an extrovert?
No, I'm probably an introverted extrovert.
No, disagree.
So. You don't see me at home. Like I prefer being around my family and things like that. I like getting around people. Like last week was great. But after 2 days, I was ready to get home. So, so like Holly said, when you're on, when you're around like work people, you feel like you're just on. Yeah. Right. And that's, but I like, I'm extroverted when I'm talking to people that I'm comfortable with, like this group,
You were at an AWS conference. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah, so what's funny is Dwayne and I were both joking about this. So Ahead is primarily known as an AWS partner. They do have Microsoft partnership as well, and they do have MVPs on staff, etc. But I now have to know AWS. In fact, I'm going to hopefully sit and pass the solution architect associate exam tomorrow. We'll see. The pressure's on. The pressure's on.
I'm sure you will. I passed it. I passed it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, watch. Now I'll fail it, and Dwayne will be like, "Ha ha."
No.
Take my course.
Yeah, right. Well, no, I don't think you have AWS courses, Dwayne. You should put something together.
I have an AWS security course on EC Council, but that's the only AWS course I've ever done yet. But yeah, I have my blog. I sent you to my blog.
Yeah, and that's been very helpful. Yeah,
that was AWS Solution Architect for Azure Solution Architects.
Yeah, and I loved it.
I kind of coordinated, the different terminology and how things are different between the two. So,
but yeah, now I have to speak multi-cloud, and eventually it'll be GCP too. But I'm like, we need to. I can't like boil the ocean and take it all on right away. I will say, going through Azure and I would say I'm pretty fluent in Azure. It's been helpful. I wasn't starting from zero, but yeah, there might be conferences I go to that are AWS focused. Dwayne, we didn't go to the what was it? Was it
Reinforce?
That's what it was. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I got to LA. I got to LA and it was cold, and I'm like, I should have brought a jacket. I should have grabbed my my MVP jacket and
oh yeah,
seen how quickly I would have gotten kicked out of the conference.
You need to meet me in Prague. You need to go to Experts Live.
Yeah,
I'll have to figure. When is it? It's in September, right?
September 18th.
You said 18th, 19th, 18th, 20th. Okay, I'll have to figure out if I can.
I might have a coworker going, so maybe I
think I'm speaking in Grand Rapids actually that week, I believe.
Yeah.
At GERCON.
Right. Call for papers are closed. Damn.
Yeah, exactly. Prague and Grand Rapids. Yeah. Prague and Grand Rapids, two different things. But I can drive in, do my speaking engagement, and drive home. It's only 2 hours away from me.
Yeah, that is true. Grand Rapids is I always like Grand Rapids. A good friend of mine lived there for about 4 or 5 years.
So, well, we're getting close to the top of the hour. Time flies when we're having fun in these chats. When we're chit-chatting. That's what I love about these, and why we started connecting in the clouds is just to continue to get together and everything. So, any last thoughts or anything, Izzy or Holly, you want to share with the community? Live, we're live. This is the last one I've got scheduled live on LinkedIn. We've got live on YouTube and we've got our Twitch channel. So that's where we're live today.
Well, I would say stay connected. Check out the conferences we're going to. Follow our YouTube channel, Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. We're both active on Twitter. Always looking forward to connecting with people. And thanks again for you all for having us on the show. It was really fun. I cannot believe the hour went by.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I looked down when Dwayne said that, and I'm like, how did that time pass?
Right.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for having us. Thank you for seeing the relevance and the work that we're doing for community. And this has just been really fun. Shannon, I always love when we connect. So
I know. I love connecting with you too. We'll have to. I've never been on Connecting in the Cloud, or not Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. Am I saying that right? Head in the Cloud. There we go. Okay, we'll do it. You know, I was just gonna say, you guys do this thing, right? Is this what we do?
Yeah.
Should we do this like this? This is how we should definitely close it, right? Is it the whole hand?
I think it's the
do the whole
hand.
As you like it.
Okay. I like it. I think that's great. I hope that's the still you use. Dwayne, that's the still you should use for the video on YouTube.
Yep, I gotta get a capture and we'll put it on there. No, I appreciate it. It's been Holly. I don't think we've ever been on a webcast cast together, so I thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Izzy, it's been a long time since we've talked on video as well.
Yeah, I just Twitter stalk Izzy and LinkedIn stalk.
We do Twitter. Yeah, we Twitter stalk each other.
Yeah,
everybody liking everybody else's videos and everything.
Right.
But exactly. Awesome time, great time to have you both. And thanks Holly for getting up early. Izzy, it's getting close to the end of your day, so have a enjoy the end of your day and a great weekend for everybody. That's what's fun about this too, is it's Friday. So we're all energized for the weekend. We're and this kind of energizes me, Shannon and Amy for the rest of the day. It gets us through the afternoon and my next 4 calls and my other webinar at 1. So
I'm headed to a family vacation in Chelan. So as soon as we're done, we're packing up.
Enjoy.
All right.
Nice.
Have fun.
Hopefully you're using the same packing techniques you gave Izzy when she was there.
Gotta roll it, right?
Roll it. I learned that years ago from a friend of mine too. I went to AWS with just a backpack with my laptop and all of I did 2 podcasts while I was there. So I had 2 microphones and my clothes and toiletries all in one backpack. So
dang,
just to avoid
vacuum cubes. That's what you need. I gave Izzy my
vacuum cubes. Oh, okay.
Those are good. I have a couple of those.
I'm sure they're available on your local shopping apps to find, right? Not to plug anybody because they're we don't have any sponsors. Maybe So all right. Well, thank you both again, and thanks Shannon and Amy for making yourselves available as always. It's always fun to have this little connection.
It's great to meet you.
Like I said, Amy, Shannon, and I are only 5 hours away from each other yet. We've never met. So
Amy and I have hung out before. I mean, clearly now that I'm working for her husband, we see each other a little bit more. But Dwayne, we'll have to figure this out. Maybe it's reInvent. Not to bring up an AWS conference, but maybe it's, if we don't get a chance to do it before then, maybe it's reInvent.
Exactly. All right, everybody. Let's take this broadcast to the end. But thanks everybody. Have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, here we go.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Ray.
Thank you.